Here's how I make a living from anywhere in the world. I'm currently in Italy and I came here spontaneously 2 weeks ago from Montenegro, and then next week I will go back to Montenegro. Why should you listen to me? I've spent years working 9 to 5s, working jobs that I hate, and I will do anything to not go back to that and to stay out of the UK and to keep living freely and making a living, doing something I enjoy. So it's not a conventional method, it's not easy, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but it's something I enjoy. And it's selling vintage clothing online. When I first started this business 4.5 years ago, I was tied to the UK. I had an apartment there where I worked from, and then I had a studio space and then a shop and then an office, and I did it out in multiple places. And of course, my clothing, my operation, I did everything, so I couldn't really take it worldwide. And then I started coming to Italy back and forth. I built up relationships with suppliers here. I started buying clothing here. It started going really well. And then as I got more frequent with my trips to Italy, the period of time that I stayed here extended. I started staying for 1 month, 2 months, 3, instead of just a couple of weeks. And then at that point, I realized that I would need some help back home in the UK. So I have people within the operation now. I'd like to say staff, but they are friends also. But I have one friend, staff in the UK, and I asked him to help me, first of all, with shipping orders so I could stay in Italy for a longer period of time. So I started doing that, and then that worked really well, and he's very trustworthy. He didn't let me down once. I did have somebody before that let me down, but that's part of running a business. You know, you're always going to get disappointed by something, and nobody sees things exactly the way that you do. And then recently I was faced with the fact that I had to leave Italy, so I was going to go to Montenegro, but I wanted to keep making a living. So again, I asked a friend if they could help me in Italy. So then I have someone in the operation in Italy now, and how it works is I simply get photos of clothing and items from my suppliers, from different people. I get the measurements, all of the information. I put them on my Instagram story. I'm just making a living from my Instagram story right now. I'm not doing any posts. I'm not doing any sponsored ads. I'm not really selling on Depop or eBay or Vinted or those apps. So I put them on my story. My repeat customers that I've built up over the last 4 years, they buy products from me, and then I have them shipped to my staff in Italy, and then my staff in Italy ship it to the UK, and then my staff in the UK send it to the customers, whether it's UK or worldwide. But yeah, I absolutely love it, and I'm also growing a coaching business on the side, which is fitness, personal training, but also mindset coaching. So I'm very excited for where that will go. But right now, that isn't full-time yet. So the main source of income and making a living is from the vintage clothing, and I love it. You know, I've loved the last 4.5 years of having this business. It's allowed freedom, it's allowed traveling. I never thought that the operation would get to this point. And it certainly can be a logistical nightmare, a lot of stress, a lot of hours. You know, even last night I was chilling with my girlfriend and we're just chilling watching something at night, and I'm just on my phone negotiating deals. And of course, I try to be as present as I can when I'm in social situations, but when it's your living, you know, you've got to put in those extra hours, you've got to do those things. And like I said, it's not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not pretending I have all the money in the world, but I get to be in different countries and spontaneously travel around, you know. And like I said, I'll do anything not to go back to the UK and to do a job that I dislike. And I'm telling you this because I'm telling you things that are on my heart and the things I'm doing in my life. And there are so many people doing things they don't want to be doing. And there are so many ways to make money and make a living, especially online these days. It's just about being smart, finding out what works for you. And of course, I wouldn't say to anybody to go and sell vintage clothing. I have a good eye for it. I listen to my customers and I look for the exact things that they want. I communicate. I speak to people. I help as much as I can. So it comes back and it all works out for me. But yeah, the point is you've got to be bold and you've got to take risks. And if you want to live a different life, you know, there are many, many bold things I have to do and I have to deal with on a daily basis. The fact that people have opinions about what I do, you know. And I don't always do things in ways that people would agree with or that are normal, but yeah, I've got to do them. And sometimes before I make a decision, like I'll speak to my brother, speak to my girlfriend, I'll speak to a friend. I'll say, what's your opinion on this? And I usually go ahead and do it anyway, but just, you know, just to get that opinion and kind of accept that people have thoughts about what you're doing before you do it. So I don't want to ramble on and on, because I could, because I've done this for 4.5 years, but I just want to tell you how I make a living and how I'm able to live, not say anywhere in the world, but pretty freely, and the places that I want to live right now. So if you like this and you want to follow the journey and you want me to give you some tips on how you can start your own business and get there and the mindsets that you'll need to adopt, then subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.